What we have is a high school girls basketball team versus a boys basketball team. And the goals were lowered to make it easier for the girls. But one thing that I don't understand is, why would the girls still get out there and try to compete with these guys when these guys are twice their size? It shows exactly the psychology of what's happening with people, how people are being conformed into believing that there's something that they are not.
Come on, man. That's too easy.
Yo, I'm trying to be real nice and real calm today and not be such a mother.
What?
Backing up and you're gonna be behind my car like you wanna get hit, and then you're gonna be on the side of my car looking at me like this.
Nigga, what?
Now what she needs to be doing is she do need to go home and put on some makeup, straighten her life up. Why is it always the women like this that are complaining? The fake Cardi B's, the ones that want attention, the one that wants to be seen. That's what she's going through. Avoid at all costs, ladies.
Marry you. What you're saying is, I have to marry you, make you my wife, in order for you to start doing wife things.
I mean, I'm just a girlfriend.
Okay. Okay. Shrika, do you want to marry me?
Yes.
Why?
Because you a provider, a protector, you watch out for me, I love you. Why would I not want to marry you?
I appreciate that, and I love you too. So what you're saying to me is, those are the things you want your husband to do.
Yes.
So you see your husband in me.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So the things I'm doing right now, even though I'm not your husband, you want your husband to do. And the crazy thing is, that's just who I am. Not because it's what I feel like I have to do. I do it because that's who Jeremy is. I'm already a husband.
He's right about that. He's already playing the role of a husband, but what she's saying is, you have to marry me in order for me to play the role of a wife. That's what you call bribery. This is why I tell you guys, women are only going to marry the weaker vessel. They're only going to push marriage on to the weaker vessel, because the weaker vessel man is willing to adjust who he is in order to accommodate her, because she's not being who she want to be. So men marry with anticipation that when they get married, they're going to sleep with their woman every day. She's going to back him up. She's going to rub his back. She's going to cook his food. She's going to be doing all those things that a wife is supposed to do, when in reality, she's not going to be doing any of that, because there's no reason for her to do any of that, because chances are she's marrying you because you want the relationship more than she wants the relationship. This guy is making a prime example of how men are. You're already a husband before you get married, but she's never a wife unless you bribe her to be the wife, which means you will have to buy her clothes. You have to buy her things around the house. You're going to constantly be spending money. So stop thinking that relationships are love. They're just money pit.
Really don't want to waste time, so let's get down to it. Do you have a baby mama? Do you have any kids? No, how much money you got in the bank? What do you do? Are you able to provide? Can you pay my telephone bills, my automobiles, my rent bills? What can you sell?
Like, realistically, no woman sits in a car and say this. No woman has these conversations in real life. They do not say this in real life. Everyone has created these scripts of realistic but unrealistic situations to get a reaction to it. In real life nowadays, you shouldn't have to have this conversation with a woman, because all of that should be up front. If you are a man who is on top of your game, then you won't even be close to a woman like this. That's the reality of it. See, only guys who are faking the funk are going to be put around women like this, because women like this are faking the funk themselves. So what you're going to notice in life is that the man is always trying to prove to the woman that he's good and he don't need a woman. And then the woman's trying to prove to the man, I don't need a man. But you want to know what? They still want to be in a relationship and be together and be married because it's cheaper for them. See, a lot of people are not driven. If you're not driven for success, then you're going to be an average person. The average person is going to live check to check, past due amount to past due amount. So you start looking for relationships so you and another person can split the bill, so you can have a little bit more money to spend on yourself. That's what's really happening in reality. When a woman start asking, what do you do for a living, and what can you pay, and what can you do this? It's because she's trying to make her life a little easier.
Podcasters and the women that are, some might say, pandering someone say pick-me's or anything like that, but are saying what men have been wanting women to know, their audience is not women, because women don't care. You would think that if I'm a woman and I am here trying to be like, let's hold each other accountable, and if you're wanting this and that, well, these men are saying this, like, you think we would have a powwow and let's talk about it amongst women, but it never happens. Those particular women get the men. Men love those. Maybe because they've been wanting a woman to tell them that for a long time. And they finally have someone.
Right,
yeah.
It's validation, like I'm not crazy.
And she's right. Guys do gravitate towards the red pill women coaches online because people are more willing to listen to a woman about a man's problem than they are listening to another man about a man's problem. But in reality, regardless of what you guys online are able to express how you feel, or get another woman to express how you feel, or get another man to express how you feel, one thing about women, just like she said at the beginning, women don't care. We can beat the dead horse as much as we want to. We can say, oh, women are this. Women need to change. Women sleep around too much. Women do this. At the end of the day, women do not care, because they're only going to listen to a dominant male. They're only going to listen to the guy that they are attracted to in order to change. A lot of guys that are complaining, all right, not all, a lot of you, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're something that a woman don't want anyway. So when you complain, a woman doesn't care because she has no attraction to you. That's just like if I see an unattractive woman trying to talk trash on me, I'm not going to get mad or that upset about it, because it's like, I'm not ready. I'm not interested in you. The only way in life for a man to win, bottom line, is to become the best man that you can be. Which means you got to get on your grind. You got to get your purpose. And we're constantly saying this. We're constantly saying it over and over again. Why? Because it's good to vent. It's good to express yourself, what women are doing. But women are still going to like the same type of dude. They're never going to stop and say, oh, let's be with the guy that's complaining. They're not going to do that. You're only going to keep looking weaker and weaker and weaker to a woman. The more you run your mouth and complain about them, the more weaker you're going to look as a man, the less attractive you're going to be. A lot of this complaining, what we're doing, is true. But you have to understand, women don't care. And the ones that do care, if they wasn't getting paid to care, they wouldn't care either.
As you have to understand your self-talk. I went and talked to some women, and of course it sucked. Take that out of there. Reframe what success looked like. I went and talked to some women. Stop caring about the outcome. The attempt is what matters when you're trying to learn. You don't hit a home run the first time at bat. It's the attempt. You got to get your shot better. It's the attempt. You got to take thousands of shots before it becomes automatic. But if every time you shoot, you call this brick, lame, weak, sucker, you'll quit.
He's absolutely right. Big shout outs to The Godfather. And this is what we miss about The Godfather. It's giving you that raw and uncut. He's right. You have to practice with women. You have to get used to being around women. You have to get used to talking to women. You cannot analyze women from afar and then get around them and thinking what you analyzing is going to work. It's not going to do that. A lot of guys overthink the situation, and then when you get in front of women, women can see that you're thinking too hard about things. You're overthinking situations, especially life and women. And the reason why a lot of you guys do this is because men don't get the opportunity to date as much as women do. So when you do get that opportunity to be in front of her, you do get that opportunity to date, you're going to blow a lot of it by doing and saying too much. The core game. Get used to just being around women. Get used to talking about women. Stop always paying attention to the negatives of women, because that's going to distract your overall goal. I keep trying to tell you, the guy that don't get women is going to call him a whore. The guy that do get women calls him his homegirl. Those are two different views from two different type of men that do two different things in life.
It's just like, how do you get so happy about sleeping with Master's granddaughter, great-granddaughter? Like, how?
I like you already.
It's just like, how do you get?
What she's saying is, she's trying to say, how do guys go and sleep with white women? It's simple. They give it up fast, they're more submissive, and the energy is different. When you grow up around black women, you get used to her nasty attitude all the time, that you think that's normal, to the point where most black men, when they get around a black woman, they don't even want to say much. Everybody has to talk timid. You got to watch what you say out your mouth. You say the wrong thing, it's like, oh, yeah, your mom's black. You can't say this. You can't say that. Black women attitudes are so nasty that when men get around white women, it's like a fresh of breath air. But I tell black dudes all the time, the white girl is always cool in your 20s. When you get in your 30s and 40s, you gonna pay for it because the chemistry is just not there, and they nag and complain the most about the littlest in life because they are the most privileged. They're the most privileged women on the planet. So black women need to understand, your attitude is so bad, you can make a fat, sloppy, ugly white woman look pretty.
And then the defense starts dropping the bombs. He basically says this, that they're in the car. Yeah, they left. But do you know why they left? They left because Kylie and Tori were in the pool together. And Kelsey and Meg both felt some type of way about that, to the point that Meg felt really some type of way about that. And she was really trying to go, to the point that eventually, because of how Meg is acting, this is according to the defense, Kylie Jenner goes to Meg Thee Stallion and says, it's time for you to leave. They all leave. The defense's point is what happens in the car is this. Tori questions Kelsey. Hey, Kelsey, why are you backing up Meg for me trying to, get it on with Kylie Jenner? Meg has been snaking men from you your whole life. I hooked up with you, Kelsey. And then Meg went behind your back and hooked up with me. And Kelsey, this is not the first time. You had been hooking up with Ben Simmons. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with Ben Simmons. You had been hooking up with the baby. Meg went behind your back and hooked up with the baby. And so the defense starts dropping all these grenades. The crowd is captivated. The jury's like, oh, what's going on? And there's every reason to believe that there could have been a fight here, not between Tori and Meg, but between Meg and Kelsey.
And this is the lawyer of Tory Lanez. He's speaking out as to what's actually going down with Tory Lanez. If you guys know that they are in trial right now, Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, and everything is starting to come to surface. Meg is still saying, Tory did this to me, Tory did that. But everybody else is saying, hey, you and your best friend got into it. And Tory was coming over to help the situation. One thing that I have learned about this is that all parties involved are scarred. All parties involved have been sleeping with different people. All parties involved are celebrities, and they're in that in crowd where things like this happens all the time. But one thing that it does show is a black woman, when she gets mad, she will create conflict, and it will constantly agitate the situation until something happens. What do I believe is going to happen here? I believe that it's just going to be one of those cases that just gets dropped, because both of the stories are completely opposite of each other, and there's really no conclusion. Hopefully you guys are getting the message behind the video. Comment, like, subscribe to both of my channels. Hasta la vista.